So Pat, I'm going to jump right in with one of your questions, and I'll say some of the announcements a little bit later. Phew, I'm so sorry, guys. This has been one of those days. So the first question, I want to get to this first question. It was Pat, and she said they just had to put their dog down last week. My prayers and love to you. And how do you know he's okay, and how do you get past the guilt? So number one, I can assure you that he's okay. Animals don't really have a hard time crossing. I've never found them to have a hard time crossing the way some people might. So that is the first thing. I can assure you that he's okay. And the second part is, in the thousands and thousands of animals I have communicated with in my career, which has spanned over 25 years, I can honestly tell you that I have not had one animal that has said, oh, I wish they didn't do it. They've all they're reading us from our heart, what our intentions are, and they are very happy for us to help them. You know, and for humans, we have palliative care. We don't have that for dogs, really. And in the wild, animals who are weak are taken out by another animal. So when we have them in our fold and their time is coming, most of them are quite happy to have assistance. So I really want you to know that. Julie is saying, how is Pixie Rose? And for those of you who don't know, Pixie Rose is my 3-pound Yorkie. And she just had surgery yesterday, and she has bounced back really well from the surgery. This morning she was shaking and crying, and despite having her pain meds, so I was feeling really awful for her, and on the phone with vets and vet techs, and it was a really hairy morning. And then I had to drive really far away to get her a new donut for her neck. It's a blow-up donut. And when I came back, she actually peeled down the hall running to go attack my Maltese, like a friendly attack. An ambush is more like it. My Maltese is older. Oh, I love those Maltese hearts. Those are beautiful. Someone's sending Maltese hearts. So Pixie Rose, the vet, she's really, really busy and active. And the vet gave me some doggy, oh, the moon. You're right, Pam. Thank you so much. The vet gave me doggy downers because Pixie has to stay quiet for 7 to 10 days. And honest to God, it's hard to keep her quiet for 5 to 7 minutes, never mind 7 to 10 days. So the vet gave me some doggy downers, which I'm against, but Pixie can do backflips in a crate. If she's in her X-Band, she just puts her arms up and jumps like on her back legs the whole time. And I mean, that's fine when she's not just had surgery on her abdomen, but it's not okay. So she's on the doggy downers, and she can hardly even stand up or walk, yet she was still running, trying to run and trying to attack my Maltese. So she's sleeping pretty good right now. So thank you for asking. And so if you can hear me loud and clear, please let me know where you're from. I'd like to know where everybody's from. It's always exciting to see that. And good thing I put my light. Sorry, I keep putting my hand in front of the camera. Yes, Pixie is always extremely affected by the moon. And she, you know, she just got spayed and she's a year old. Because she's 3 pounds, we were hoping she'd grow because she was only 2.5 pounds like last time we checked. So, basically, I think when they're not spayed, they're even more impacted by the moon, just like humans are, and you know they still are once they're spayed. But that is, that was a bit exciting. Oh, lots of Ontario people. I'm from Ontario. I live in Arizona, in the beautiful desert of Arizona, but I am in Sedona area, and I am from Canada. So, in Nova Scotia, I'm seeing quite a few, and all kinds of. Not that I'm, not happy to see all you Americans here from all the different states. It's always exciting. Oh, Rosemary's saying 2 dogs killed her cat Angel. Rest in peace. I'm so sorry to hear that. So please, if you have a question, and try to make it shorter, because if they get too long, sometimes I can't read them as well. So try to keep your question concise. I'm not doing individual readings today, but I'm doing questions and answers to help you and everybody else on the call to learn as much as possible. And while I'm waiting for a couple questions, I just want to make 2 announcements because I deleted the first live where the screen was tilted. Boy, we've never had so many problems before. 2 weeks from today, on October 10th, I'm doing another Q&A. You can be sure we'll do a trial run early in the morning to make sure Facebook hasn't yet again changed one of their settings, which has happened, which is why I had a hard time getting on today. And then on the week of October 29th, I'm going to be doing, there's going to be a whole week. It's going to be animal communication, healing, and psychic development. Well, no, just animal communication and healing week. So mark that date on your calendar, October 29th. There's going to be some really exciting things I'm doing then. So Becky says, is my St. Bernard with me in spirit form? I can guarantee you that all of your animal companions are with you in spirit form. That's just the nature of we're souls, they're souls, they hang out with us. To them, when they cross, it's not, when they cross, it's honestly, you know, it's just how we connect with other souls who have crossed. Any souls that are with us, part of our soul group, it's how it happens. Mari says, why do dogs chew on rocks? There could be a number of reasons for that. I mean, it could be they're looking for a mineral. It could be they just like to chew on things that are hard. There's a number of things. It could even be a past life thing. I mean, for every individual, I would say, I mean, that's why I tune into individuals. For every individual, I can, okay, I'm going to go to the live myself, just on my computer, because it's, again, not letting me open up I'm going to have to turn my sound off so I don't hear myself over there. It's not letting me open up the questions fully, so let me find myself. It's going to be very strange having myself live to the right of me and looking into the camera going live to the left of me. So let me just look at some of these questions here. So I'm going to pull my computer over and I'm going to try to, oh, yay! I can see the questions in full. Yay. So Jimmy has a question from Clovis, California. I have a horse that I really want to connect with. How do I do this? She was dealing with navicular, which is painful. Yes, I'm very familiar with navicular, having been a horse person myself. So the very best way you can connect with them is to learn how to do it, like go through training. If you want to start with a more basic training, we have a free training program that is called Making the Heart Connection with Your Animal Companions, and one of my team members, Raya, is on the is live with us on the call here, or on the live. So Raya, if you could post that Making the Heart Connection with Your Animal Companions link for everybody, so that would be a good place to start, Jimmy. If there is any way you can take one of my trainings, that would be the best. You can also have a session. We have various sessions available, but I think it can be very helpful. Not just the connection and the communication, but the healing and the clearing and the balancing of energies, which make it easier for animals to A, heal, or B, deal with what they're dealing with. Not everything is healable. I'll be the first to say that. I've been a healer most of my life. So Maria, I would have to do more of a in-depth reading for an animal that that disappeared. I don't know. I would go into a lot of detail. Connie, in general, our animal companions can tell when we or our other animal companions have health issues. They're very aware of that, and they'll often be the ones to let us know something's going on. Pat says, do you believe pets reincarnate? If so, how will we know? So, I believe it because I have seen it over and over and over again in 25 plus years of doing this work. So it's easy for me to know and believe and see it. I have some clients that have been with me so long that they had, and I mentioned this, I think, on my last Q&A, I can't remember. They had one life, crossed over, reincarnated as the same species but a different sex, came back and have had another whole life because I've been doing this so long. And I've had numerous people tell me all kinds of different stories, my clients. But how I know is because they always give a sign. Like this one dog I'm talking about, this Pomeranian, who just happens to come to mind again, it was a boy, Misha, and Misha was very larger than life. And in a movie, he upstaged Faye Dunaway in a movie. And when he crossed and was getting ready to come back, his person, to make a long story short, because I said more about it, I believe, in the last live, which you can still watch on my Facebook page, Animal Alchemy, he crossed over, and his person called me, and she said, I think I found them. I think I have found him, And she sent me a litter of puppies, and as soon as I looked at the page, it was like a spotlight was shone on the first one, the second one from the left or the second one from the right. I can't remember because it was so long ago now. And sure enough, I mean, she had taken all my training, and she had already knew that was him, but she wanted, you know, she didn't tell me, and she said, do you think Misha's in this litter? And of course, she goes, that's the same one I saw too. And Misha came back as a female Pomeranian. But, you know, so yes, I do. And the way we know is when we get proof. When they come back, you know. I had a friend in Toronto who was a channel, and he had a dog, and he asked his dog to come back. I believe he asked him to come back as an English setter. And one day he found this person near Toronto, and they had a puppy, and he wanted a male puppy, and he's like, do you have a male puppy? And they said, yes, but he's not for sale. And he finally convinced them to let him come and see the dog. And he said to me, if this dog does this, 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 and this, then you'll know. Like, I mean, he was saying, I know he's the reincarnation of my old dog, and this is supposed to happen, and all of this. And of course, when he got there, the dog did this, that, and the other thing, and the people were so astonished that they let him buy him, you know. So that can happen. Melody's saying, I lost my dog of 13 years, Toby. Would love to see him again. And that was just in July. I'm so sorry, first of all. And second of all, you can have and maintain a connection with him in spirit. I want to say that for sure. And if you want him to come back, you let him know. You know, you can let him know that you'll see him, you know, when you cross the Rainbow Bridge, or when you cross, whatever you want to call it, when you cross over down the road. Or you can say, I want to have another lifetime with you, and could you please come back to me as whatever. You guys have the power to do this 100%. So I really want you to know that. Hey, from Georgia. Hey, if you guys have friends that are interested in this, to make this easier, to make me be able to do more of these, I would really appreciate it if you would tag a friend, and also at the end or somewhere during, if you would share it, because it really does help. It really does help me be able to make more of them. Bonsoir, Nico. I see someone. I don't know if I said that right, but hey, I'm Canadian. It's better than the American French accent. Pam is saying, my one dog senses if my son is in a dark space. I have 3 dogs, but this one, it's like we're connected. So, you know, and maybe has a special propensity for your son. Your son's soul, or I don't know how old your son is, but and if you type it in, by the time I get to it, there'll be 1,000 comments in between. But I want to say that dogs and all animals, they come in with a specific job, a specific mission. They really want to be there for us in whatever way. And this is obviously this dog's mission. Okay, let me see. So Sherry is saying, let me see if I can get... Okay, I'm going to go to a couple here. Just let me make sure this is the live. Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at 2 places at once. Sherry says my dog doesn't want to eat dog food anymore, and all I'm going to say is smart dog. I don't feed my dogs dog food because it's processed. It's kind of like us eating McDonald's every day. So you have a smart dog. There's a reason why dogs want to eat real food, because it is what they're meant to eat. Nancy says, I have a dog and cat that came back to me, same personalities. That's cool. That's really great. It doesn't always happen that way, but it's great when it does. So let's see. Deborah says, hopefully Deborah's is going to come back here, because I just had to hit refresh on my computer to get more of the questions coming up. Let me see now. I'm not going to find. And Raya has posted the Making the Heart Connection with Your Animal Companions. It's a free training. It's a mini training, but it's a great training for free. I mean, there's places you'd have to pay money for a training like that. So Renee says, why does my dog whine at night, my elderly dog? And you know what? It can be a number of reasons. If I was doing an individual reading, I would go into all of the reasons. It could be the processing of a certain meridian, you know, and the circadian rhythm, certain meridians within our bodies and our animal companions' bodies process at certain times of night. So if your dog was, say, whining or whiny between 1 and 3 a.m., for example, that could be the liver meridian processing. So maybe there's something going on with the liver meridian. Perhaps it could be healed with acupuncture. Perhaps there's it's actually gone beyond the energy field and it's into the physical body, and something, is going on. I would absolutely make sure your dog's been checked by a veterinarian for sure. And go from there. But an individual reading would help to bring you the more of the specific reasons why your dog might be doing it. Sherry says, what do you feed your dog? I feed my dog a food called My Perfect Pet. It's human grade, partially cooked food. I used to feed my Golden and Carly and even Pixie a little bit of the time raw, but my smaller dogs haven't liked raw as much as my Golden Retriever did. So let's see. Ann Stewart says, why do animals seem to hide and not show pain? How do we help them if they don't show it? How we help them is by becoming so in tune with them that we know when something is really going on with them. Becoming that in tune. Thanks for the hearts, everybody. I see lots of them coming along. When we know what is going on with them, so we keep ourselves in tune constantly. I'm going to put my laptop back over here because it's not showing me the post. So Cheryl is yeah, by being more in tune than we can ever be. And one of the things I'm going to ask you guys, if it's possible to please not private message the Animal Alchemy page. The way to ask questions and make comments is in the forum on Facebook, because it's confusing. I've got so many things coming at me at one time. So Cheryl says, my amazing hearing service dog recently passed. 2 of my other dogs have started trying to alert, and I can't see the rest of it because Facebook won't let me open it. And when I went to my page here, I can't see your question on this page. They don't correlate from one place to the other. It's very weird. There's only 4 comments showing up, and I know there's way more than that. Let me hit refresh on that page. Maybe I can come back. So here's what I'm deducing from your question is that your other dogs are trying to alert you when things are going on, obviously to take the place of your other dogs. So they were, all 3 dogs were in a soul agreement, as were you with them. And they're sort of trying to pick up the slack and help. And they understood the relationship you had with your first dog. So I hope that helps you. I wish I could see the rest of the question. Deborah, you're not too late. We actually got going really late, so good for you for being late, because you didn't have to miss our 20 some odd minutes of having a difficulty. Don't forget, I'm only going to answer questions that are posted in the comments on the page. I'm not going to be answering private messages. I see them flashing across the top constantly. I can't look at everything at once and do a live. It's too crazy. So let's see. Deborah says, my dog will go spend time in the bedroom when my husband and I are still in the living room. And then it says she will stay, and that's as far as Facebook lets me see. So shorter questions are better, because I have my laptop here so I can look at them there, but they're not correlating for some reason right now. So number 1, that's absolutely okay. My Maltese Carly is, she'll be 11 soon. She'll be 11 like in half a month, basically. And her preference has always been to be on her own. She's not a snuggly, huggy, sit on the couch with me kind of dog. When I first got her, I got her from a rescue, but it was a Maltese rescue, and she was a puppy. And the lady would phone me, and I'd say she's under the couch. Like I was renting a furnished place at the time because I lived in Canada, but I was in Arizona, and she would say, make her sit on the couch with you, and all this stuff. And I'd be like, I'd put her on the couch. She didn't want to be on the couch. She's never wanted to be on the couch. She's never even necessarily wanted to be in the same room as me. She loves me dearly, but that is her personality. My Yorkie is like a Velcro dog. If I'm at my desk, she's at the bed that's like pushed up against my desk. If I move into the living room, she's either at the bed pushed up against the couch, or she's on the couch with me, or she's, practically, she'd sit inside my head if she could get in there. So it's their personality. Now, if you have a dog that has a drastic change in personality, then that's something you want to look at with your vet and maybe an animal communicator to find out what's going on. So thanks for that question. Okay, let's see, I'm kind of... Oh, Lily Rose says, sorry about Pixie. You know, Pixie will be well. It's just a matter of her keeping Pixie quiet, like I said earlier, for 5 to 10 minutes is a problem. 5 to 10 days, it's like next to impossible. So, so sadly, she has to be on some downers just to keep her. And you know, the vet said to me, the pills are like the most microscopic pill you've ever seen in your life. And she goes, well, break it into quarters and then give her half of that. I'm like, breaking the pill like that into quarters is almost impossible. I'm trying to break she said you can give her a quarter if you have to, but I'm talking a pill like a little teeny weeny aspirin and breaking it into eighths. I'm like, I tried it. It's not working very well. So hopefully she can handle that dose because they don't make them for 3-pound dogs. And someone is saying, what did Pixie Rose have or what happened or whatever. I think I'm only seeing a bit of that. So Pixie Rose is only 1 and she had some retained baby teeth, 3 of them. That often happens for little toy dogs. What happens is with a dog's baby teeth, the way they lose them is the roots, they get, you know, they have teeth. And the roots of those teeth dissolve, interestingly enough, and then the tooth just falls out. Except the root for 3 of her teeth didn't dissolve. Her 2 front teeth, which were the teeniest little things. I mean, the vet saved them for me in a bottle. I don't know why, but they're the teeniest little teeth you've ever seen in your life. And then her eye teeth, the vet said that was never coming out. That root was like, it was like an adult tooth root. So she was never going to lose those. Okay. Do deceased pets give you signs through other animals? Ever since my dog died, this squirrel keeps something. Again, I can't see past the end of that, so make your questions as short as you possibly can for me to answer my best. 100% yes. They can give us signs through many, many ways. And I have some videos on YouTube. On YouTube, it's under Lynn McKenzie, Animal Communicator. And I have like a ton of amazing videos there. But they give us signs from so many different places and ways and shapes and forms. And yes, it can be wild animals. It can be other animals. You could be walking down the street and someone's dog wants to connect with you and you get a message that way. And you may not have ever seen them before again. Thanks for those of you who are tagging your friends. The more people we get coming onto these, the more I can give you these. I can do more of these for you, free, and I like to give back. So Sheba is saying, I'm a budding psychic medium. Yoo-hoo! I'm excited about that. I always love it when people are, you know, tuning into their gifts. And I have a light right above my head, which I'm seeing now is probably not the best look. I gotta get my lighting ordered. Can you please tell me how to connect to a dog who has passed? And then I can't see much of the rest. I see I'm GUE. I'm assuming guessing. So the way you connect to them is like with their soul. You do soul to soul with them. So you call up their soul. You conjure it up like you're turning on a radio station to 99.9, which is different than if you turned it on to 99.7, which might be another station. So you connect with them soul to soul, and they are able to communicate with you just the way they are able to communicate with you through animal communication. I have some free trainings. Raya already posted the link to the Making the Heart Connection. That's a free animal communication training. It's basically the same for living and deceased animals in spirit, as I like to call them. You're welcome to grab that, and we have lots of more in-depth trainings. My 3-legged dog Cassie died 1 year ago. This is Melanie. Sorry to hear that, Melanie. Does my surviving dog Zoe think of her? Well, dogs live a little bit more in the present than we do. They don't like worry about the future or think about, or, you know, reminisce as much as we might about the past. But what I can tell you is that Zoe is still connected with Cassie. That's just how it goes. So soul to soul, they're very connected. I can't read the very last bit you wrote. Shirley says, my dog has a persistent cough. Can you tell me what's wrong? In this setting, it wouldn't be responsible for me to do that because I really need like a good half an hour of tuning in and really going through all kinds of systems to see what's really going on. I mean, a cough could have something to do with the kidneys. You know, that's how so bizarre. But the very first thing I would do, Shirley, is I would get your dog looked at by a vet. Maybe you already have. Another thing is, depending on where you live, I might say have your dog checked for valley fever or Lyme disease or something like that. The veterinarians in your area are going to know what possible viruses or might create something like this if it's persistent. Your dog may even need an x-ray, who knows, maybe there's something pressing there. So, but without doing a reading, a private reading, I wouldn't be able to say. Cheryl's asking, what did Pixie Rose say about the experience in her healing? Pixie's bouncing off walls, just in general. That's who she is. And she's coming into her own, but she's shared that it's going to be a few years before she's as deep. Like, she's a healer, weirdly enough, and she's like, she's crazy. But at the same time, it's going to be a number of years before she's really matured into what she's here for. But as far as her experience, she didn't really like it. I wouldn't like it if I had surgery either. And at the same time, she's very positive about it. It was really good for her to get those teeth out because one of them was really bothering her, and she'd rub her face and like kind of go and scream as she was, every rub was a scream while she was doing it. So she was doing everything in her power to get that tooth out because the other teeth are there. So this was like another tooth in front of the tooth, pushing down, and stuff would get stuck. And Pixie has no patience for anything. She thinks she runs the world. So she's happy and she's happy not to have to go through another heat because she went into a false pregnancy and her mammary glands were all bumpy and loopy. Raya, if you could post a picture of Pixie Rose, you could. Thanks. Lily Rose says, I love you live. And Julie said, I love watching you live. Yeah, you know what? I prefer to be live. I really do. I wish you guys were live too. And every time you asked a question, you guys were coming up. But that would require Zoom. And then there's a lot more technology for the students I may do it in some of my trainings. So I need that training. You are welcome, Sheba, saying thank you. Linda is saying, can you tell me why my other horse Phoebe becomes so undone when I try, why my horse Phoebe becomes so undone when I try to work her with other horses working? So, I can just give you some generalities because I'm not doing readings, and to really get you the best, like the real answer, the what's really true and what's really going on, because I work on many levels. I work on the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual levels, and there can be numerous things on every level that I kind of put back together, kind of look for the missing pieces of the puzzle, put it all back together, and make it a nice round ball. That's what I teach in my animal energy certification training, that modality that I do. So when it comes to Phoebe, there could be so many different reasons. It could be a past life thing. It could be a training issue. It could be something that's bothering her, a fear. It may not be like some fears are justified and some fears are not justified, and could even be an unjustified fear that she needs cleared. There's some kind of disconnect somewhere, some kind of issue somewhere. So if any of you are really wondering about what's going on with your animal companions, if you can come into my animal energy certification training, it is an in-depth training program. It is, you can stay in it for up to 2 years. Most people would take close to a year to go through it. It can be done as quickly as 5 months, but I don't think most of you would want to do it that fast. And you learn everything that you need to do this for all your animals. You can help your friends. You can do it for others in a business. So Sheba says, what's a soul agreement? How do we make those with our pets? So a soul agreement is an agreement that's made between souls when we're not on this plane. So when we're in the spirit realm as souls, we make agreements with other souls. It might be that I'm going to come to be with you as your dog for 1 year. That could mean I'm going to have a 1 year life as your dog. It could mean that you're going to have me for a year and then I'm meant to go to the next family and somehow it'll all be orchestrated. It could mean anything, but they are done just the way soul agreements are done with humans, and it's pretty amazing. Nancy Finn says kennel cough, and I'm assuming she's referring to the dog with the constant cough. Yeah, that could be. Usually kennel cough is pretty serious, you know, and it isn't, it's not, it's a big illness. You know, it seems like a big illness and it sounds pretty awful. My dog caught it in Toronto once. I thought he had something stuck in his throat, and I literally walked into the office, the vet's office, and they're like, "Get out!" And I'm like, "What?" They're screaming at me to get out the door, and I'm like, "What? Why? You know?" And they're like, "Get out! We have to disinfect the whole office and change our clothes and blah blah blah, just because you came in, you know." And he had got it because we lived in a very populated area, but I thought he had something stuck in his throat, and that's why I made an appointment for him. It's a weird sound, so it doesn't sound like what I would think of as a persistent cough, but who knows. Maria, yes, the free course link is posted on the chat feed. Raya posted it. Raya, and there should be an image with it, I believe, and it's called Making the Heart Connection. We have another free thing for you guys, and that is a grounding exercise that you can do for your animal companions. And for anybody who has any kind of physical, emotional, mental, training, behavioral, spiritual issues with your animal companions, this grounding exercise is something you want. So absolutely grab those free things. Maybe Raya can post the grounding exercise as well. Oh, people are asking if you could share the link for the free training again, Raya. And maybe while you're at it, we have a couple of free webinars. We have a free webinar on animal communication and healing. Excuse me. And we have a free webinar on psychic development. So maybe you could post them, Raya, as well, and just keep your eye on the thread and you'll find them. And we can post them again. Some of these are posted on the page separately. I think I had Raya post them on the page separately before the live started, so they'd be easy for you guys to find. So, you know, you can always look on the page after. You won't have a hard time. Pam says, I've been called Animal Whisper because I love and can have them calm down. However, I cannot hear them. I think that was the end of your post. I hope so, because that's where Facebook cut me off. Don't forget, keep your questions short. It's easier for me to see the whole thing. So Pam, it's just a matter of altering your perspective. And that's what we do in my really in-depth training. You know, because you already have that love for them and that passion and that ability to calm them down, you can learn to listen to them. You can learn to receive communications in the way of downloads. You can learn to be clairsentient with them, and all the other clairs. There's many of them. I deal with the main four, but there's others as well. So you can absolutely open all that up. Everybody can, especially if you love animals and you have a propensity for them, which I'm assuming most of you do, or you wouldn't be here. Oh, thanks, Julie. I think it's already on the page, but I believe I saw it come through, so I know Raya posted it somewhere in the thread. Someone else said my dog had a persistent cough, found he had an enlarged heart. So that's why I say whenever there's a cough, you always want to have your dog checked by a veterinarian. It could be something pushing against it. You know, if he had an enlarged heart, he might have been having you know, congestive heart failure or something like that. There's all kinds of reasons. Pam said, is there some people who cannot? And I'm assuming you mean communicate with animals. I believe the answer to that is no. I believe that we all are capable of doing it, and we all have our breakthroughs in different ways at different times. I can verify that from my trainings, my private trainings. And you just don't want to, you want to not give up before your breakthrough happens. And most people will have one if they really want to do it and do the work. Deb says, can our dog eating cat food affect liver enzymes? We have a cat food sneak thief. I'm sure most people who have dogs and cats have a cat food sneak thief. So, you know, most people put the cat food up high, somewhere high enough that a dog can't get to it. I know some dogs are acrobats, so that can be trouble. I've had clients who had dogs that could open the refrigerator and eat everything in it. They had literally padlocks on their refrigerator. So, I am not sure that it would affect your dog's liver enzymes because I can't see why, but I'm not a vet. Okay, so that's the first thing. So I would ask your vet if that could be the case. Cat food should be safe. I mean, cat food usually has a little bit more protein and a little bit more veggies. And, you know, I'm into grain-free everything. I think grain-free everything is best for most people and most animals. There's no, like, here's the thing. There's essential amino acids, which are in protein, and there's essential fatty acids, which are in fat, and there's no essential carbohydrate at all. So that's my little food for our animal companions soapbox thing. I would say, my gut would say no, but, you know, and then I would ask a vet if that's a possibility. And if the vet says no, that doesn't mean that it might not affect that one dog, because every single individual is so unique. I'll tell you, I am the most unique as far as sensitivities to things. So Raya said that she posted Pixie's picture on my Animal Alchemy if anyone wants to see it. So, yeah. Oh, thanks. Oh, Carly's doing really well, Lily Rose. Pixie is the ruler and wants to be. Yes, Pixie thinks she runs the world. I mean, she's probably running for president in the next election. She is the smallest thing in the world with the biggest personality I've ever seen. And Carly's doing really well. She's having an upswing, which is really good. Okay, Emily says, my mother just passed. I'm so sorry, Emily. All my love to you and condolences. Your dog Milo loved and guarded her, and the moment she passed, he pulled her blanket. Let me just see if I can get the rest of this, because it just cut off, and I'm looking at my laptop to see if I can get the rest of it. As I'm looking for your... It's so strange for me to figure out why I can't see the same comments here. There's only like 5 comments showing at a time here. So anyways, I'm not sure if you were going to say he pulled her blanket off to be with it, or if he pulled it over her, or what. And I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I can't see the rest of your question. So if you're able to post it in a smaller way, I can get to it. Lily says it's a great course. And Lily's, I'm assuming, talking about my animal energy certification training, my in-depth one. And thank you. And she's in that one. And thank you so much, Lily, for posting that. And Melanie is saying, I want to take the course. Melanie, you absolutely should. It's awesome. Don't take it from me. Take it from my students. If any of my students are watching, post your experiences with the course. Oh, Raya can't post images. Okay. So when she posts, so when Raya posts the links, they're not going to be with images because she can't post images during the live. But I believe she posted them outside of the live, so afterwards. But she posted the links within the live. So just look for Raya Gonzalez, and you'll see the links in the threads. And then you can see, if you're looking for, you want to see them with the images, after the end of this, you can go back and do that. Nancy Finn says, any crystals we can use to help with our animal communication? There are so many of them, Nancy. I have lists and lists of them, and exactly how they help and what they do in my trainings, in my more in-depth trainings. Just to give you an idea, Herkimer Diamond is one. Celestite, I have a huge piece of celestite over. See that little window that way? I think you can see where my finger's pointing, right there. That's a huge piece of celestite. That's one of my largest crystals, and it's a really beautiful piece of celestite. That's amazing. There are so many of them, and someday that would probably be a good thing for me to make into a free offer for you guys. So Raya, would you mind making a note of that I'll make a free offer up for crystals to help with animal communication and psychic development? Then you guys, whoever wants it, can opt in and grab it. That would be the easiest way, because then I'm trying to use my mouse to control my iPhone. This is funny. Oh, thank you so much, Julie. Julie says it's a great course. So is her psychic development course. Thank you, Julie. Chica's Pearls says, Julie, she's not a psychic. Actually, I am Chica's Pearls, and Julie is in my training. She's in my, oh, that's nice. Thanks, Chica's Pearls. I think I'm not sure if you don't want to be, if you're not interested in this while you're on my live, but I can assure you that I'm not a con. I don't have any, and I'm sure most of my students who have been with me for years can attest to that. Lily Rose says the distant healing is amazing. Jaren says, I don't want to be judged, but I like to make love to my dog. Oh my gosh, we're getting some real spammers, so I better read them before I start saying them. Emily says, would Milo welcome another dog? We are all mourning my mother. So Emily, that would be something that would be best handled in a private session, because there's a lot to that. And Milo might very well be, willing to welcome another dog. It may be, there may be certain parameters and specifics and all that kind of thing. So that would be best handled in a private session. And, it may be that it would be best for a little bit of the morning to take place before the dog comes along. But on the other hand, I have a feeling that your mom is going to send a soul down for all of you. So all of that is a real possibility, I would say. Nancy says, I'm a student in your class, so blessed to be a part of it. I foster dogs. I don't know, Raya, if there's any way to get the spammers off of here. I guess whenever you have something going on with a lot of people, you got spammers. Sarah says, my dog came to me right after she died, so I could see her in heaven. How do I get this connection again? And then I can't see the rest of it. So, Sarah, it's a matter of intention and commitment. I highly recommend you sign up for my free Making the Heart Connection with Your Animal Companions training. And also for any of you guys who want to know more, I really also recommend you sign up for my Animal Communication and Healing webinar. That webinar has a lot of information in it that can help you, and it is where I introduce my animal energy certification training. So if you're interested in that, you'll learn about it in there. But I've had people, I just had someone today on one of my ads on Facebook's post that she loved it. Thanks for banning them, Raya. She's banning the spammers. If you see any more, just ban them. I'll try not to read them out loud before I get there. So you will get some pieces from those right there. The best thing you could do, and one of the things that I know from all of the students in the training, is so many people come into this training either when they have an elderly, and this isn't the only category of people, but when they have an elderly animal that's, I see someone writing, go Raya, that's funny. When they have an elderly animal that's getting ready to make a transition, and they don't even, in their minds, they're not consciously going, oh, I better sign up for an animal communication and healing training. And this is so much more than an animal communication course. If I said that, it would be like, that's like saying that that a pie is just made out of pastry. There's so much more in the pie than pastry. But so some people really like to really come in and then realize that it's getting close to their time for their animal to transition, and they really need this support, because the support in this training is amazing from others. It's a beautiful community. But some people also have lost an animal companion, and that animal companion is urging them to come into this and to really learn this for their own spiritual and personal development. And it opens up a vast, amazing world. Pam says, thank you for your help and time. You're welcome. Yeah, someone else said about the breathing issues was in heart something, maybe heart failure or something. The last person who was talking about her dog breathing. 100%. Animal communication is not a substitute for veterinary care. It's an amazing thing that we can add to it. It's an amazing personal and transformational growth and development process. It makes your life wonderful. That's all I can say. Lily's saying, Sarah, take the class. Thank you, Lily. Okay, if you can, I don't know if you've banned Jaron Reynolds yet, but he needs to be banned if he hasn't, because he's crazy. Yeah, Jaron, this is not the forum for you. This is not the live for you. Oh, Julie's saying yes, take it. It's a great course. Oh, Sue Robertson's saying it's a great course, lots of info. Okay. Chris says, my dog Shiloh became ill on Monday. They found an abnormality on ultrasound. We will be doing euthanasia. Oh, I'm so sorry. And then your post ends, and I'm very sorry about that. So I can't see the rest of it, but I just want to say I'm very sorry, sending lots of love your way. I know how hard and how gut-wrenching and how traumatic this is, but I also want to say that there is a peace. There's always a gift in that pain, and the gift is that you can connect with your animal. The love that you share does not end with the ending of the physical, and you can stay connected with them through and afterwards. Actually, I have another, I have a couple of videos on YouTube, and they're called, I think they're called Walking Softly Through the Death and Dying of Our Animal Companions, or something like that. Something along those lines. And they're on YouTube under Lynn McKenzie, Animal Communicator, and you can go there and look at those. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that are going to help you. Anybody who has to put an animal companion down anytime soon, or has lost an animal companion recently, or is just having some grief. Oh, Milo pulled the blanket off the bed and nestled it. That was Emily. Yeah, that's what I was feeling. And I just feel that, Milo was in one way showing you that there's still that connection between Milo and your mom, and for you as well. Oh, Leslie's saying that would be awesome. I'm very interested in crystals as well. Okay, yeah. So Raya has posted the link to the free animal communication training. And let's see. Let me get there through. Okay, thanks. Thanks for banning and deleting explicit comments. Who ever thought we would need to do that on my page? That's what happens when you get larger, I guess. People want to, you attract the wackies to try to put out our light. This is a great question, Sarah. Do our pets become our guides when they cross? And most of the time they become our guides, our guardian angels, and they sometimes come back, but and they can be our guide even while they're here. For those of you who have heard the Lucero story, you know that Lucero, the Andalusian stallion, who is kind of behind all of my work, absolutely was my guide when he was still on the physical, so yes. Sue says, do some animals need time before they communicate with us? I'm wondering if you mean after they have transitioned. Excuse me. For the most part, they don't really need time before they communicate with us. Most of them are very willing to communicate with us. But, if they're our own animals, we may be in so much grief that we may have a hard time connecting with them. We may not be able to hear them because they're our own animals. Sometimes for some people it can be harder. So that is amazing. And that's just how it is. I'm sorry, that's not amazing. I'm sorry. It's amazing that I'm reading Raya's thing saying I've deleted them all again. So that's how it is. But they just, hold the faith and you will be able to connect with them. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, Emily says, thank you, Lynn. I felt my mother setting a female dog. And always trust what you're feeling. That's what I'm going to say. Nancy says, one of my cats sleeps with me in spirit. So this cat comes, the spirit of this cat comes and sleeps with her, and that's very common. Julie is talking about the videos being very helpful. These are the YouTube videos she's talking about. So, I mean, check us out on YouTube. We're also on Instagram and Twitter, but I don't really know too much about those. I know a little bit more about Facebook and YouTube. Oh, Chris wants to know how I can help make Shiloh's transition easier. Chris, I highly recommend those videos on YouTube. Raya, if you have a chance, can you see if you can grab just a link or two from Facebook on some of the videos that might help Chris with helping with Shiloh's transition? I wrote an article years ago called Walking Gently Through the Death and Dying of Our Animal Companions, and it was how to help ourselves and how to help our animal companions. And then I turned that into some videos which I believe are on YouTube, and I think that those would be the most helpful for you. Dana says, I just lost my Bubbles. Is he around me? I can guarantee it. Our animal companions and any spirit that leaves is always around us. They're usually like this close, you know, they're in our aura pretty much. One of my ferrets came to visit me in spirit. Julie says, love Lucero and Jigs. So Lucero is an Andalusian stallion. I call him an ascended master of the equine realm. And I met him in the early 90s. He made his I met him in the mid 90s, I guess. He made his transition in 2002. He was still quite young. He was my guide. I met him in an animal communication course. I won't get into the whole story. I'll probably put a video about him on YouTube because that would be the easiest way. And so he was my guide when he was on the physical plane. He made his transition, and he is like the overarching. Anybody who comes into my world is part of his soul group. So absolutely, he's amazing. And Jigs is also a big part of all of my work. And he is my golden retriever who was born in 1993 and transitioned in 2007. And he's also a huge part of it. And Jigs and Lucero are kind of like the head honchos of this whole organization that I run. And all of my students get to meet with them and, you know, in spirit and communicate with them and really learn from them. It's pretty phenomenal. Sheba says, my dog came to comfort me the night I can't into my abilities last year. I'm not sure exactly because there's some kind of typo. Maybe came into my abilities last year. It was amazing. I'm glad it was amazing. I'm not exactly following completely. I'm thinking of taking your course. When my mother passed, her childhood dogs were showing up. And then the last part says WI. Emily, the timing couldn't be better for you. And I'm saying that from my heart because when you've lost a being that you loved as much as your mother, and when you have your dog and that connection between your dog and your mother, there's just going to be so much for you there. And so I really hope you will. Beata says, what do I need to do to get acknowledged? I'm not sure what you want, Beata, but I haven't seen a question come through for you. There's a lot of people on here, and I'm doing the questions. Too bad your question wasn't there because I could have answered it. Sue says, the videos are awesome. And Raya, even if you grab a few videos to post here so the people who have animals that are crossing can go and look, and then once you watch one of the videos, go onto the channel and watch them all. I sometimes see people binge watching them because they comment on them all, and it's great. Okay. Leslie says, what about pets you had to leave behind when going through a split? My ex threatened me if I ever, and then it ends there. So I'm sorry, but Facebook is not allowing me to answer long questions on these lives anymore. I used to be able to click it and it would open up, but now it won't. Nope, it doesn't. You can still communicate with their souls, and when they, if they're alive and when they transition, you can stay connected, and you can send them what's in your heart, and that's what they're concerned about. Beata saying, asked several times. I haven't seen your question yet, Beata, so if I get to it, I'll answer it. And Nancy said, I watched all your YouTube videos. It's funny, questions, I don't know if questions are still coming through or not. I'm down to the very last one on, let me just hit refresh on my computer. So if you have a question, post it now. Beata, Facebook could be putting specific questions through to my phone and not others, but I'm actually on my computer here too, and there's only still 5 comments showing up. I don't understand, because it says there's 43 comments. Wait, maybe look. Oh, let me look here and see if I open it up. Yeah, Facebook must be keep the questions coming, because I'll answer a couple more. And even if you've typed it, we thank you. Thank you. You guys are telling me you love me. That's so sweet. Let me just see if there's anything else I want to say while I'm here. Yeah, so I'm going to do a quick recap while I'm waiting for a couple more questions to come through. I don't know why Facebook is doing this. I came on 20 minutes late because they changed how you get on live, and my phone wouldn't let me on. I even had to turn my phone off and restart it to even make it work. So just to recap a couple things. Number 1, you can register for our free Making the Heart Connection with Your Animal Companions program. You can register for the free grounding exercise for your animal companions program. And you can also register for my 2 free webinars. One's related to animal communication and healing, and one is related to psychic development. So Emily said, my poodle Whoopsie Daisy had a seizure in front of my kids and passed, and I'm very sorry. And on the other hand, our animal companions do come to teach us about the circle of life, and you'll really get to learn that in the training if you come into the training, which I hope you really do. I still see some questions coming through on private message or on the message for Animal Alchemy. You have to put them in the thread in order for me to read them, because they just flash across and disappear and I can't even see what they are. Lay said, my horse Anna is not very respectful of me. I do not believe in harsh disciplinary methods. So, you know, I believe that there are ways to show horses, like, let me think of the best way to say this. Horses need to know the pecking order. They actually have anxiety, and when they don't know the pecking order, and they would like when 2 horses meet and they sniff into each other's noses, and they scream and one lifts its leg and stomps and, you know, goes like that. They have actually met and established the pecking order. And then it's kind of like that unless one of them starts to rise up and try to challenge them. So when we have horses, they need to know that and it goes against everything to do with spiritual, you know, bonds and animal communication and all that. But a horse has to know that you are above them in order for them to be respectful, because that's how horses are. Horses are disrespectful for those below them and respectful to those above them because they know it's for the best. Now, you don't have to have a harsh disciplinary method to do that, but you have to know how to do it. There are books and trainers, and there's people on YouTube. I just watched a video the other day. I wished I could remember his name. It just popped up in my YouTube feed, and I watched it, and I loved it. Sorry, my throat's getting dry. It's dry here in the desert. Gloria says, will any of our dogs or horses materialize since they're crossing over? By materialize, Gloria, I'm assuming that you mean, will they show themselves to you from spirit? And absolutely, they will. It may not be how you're expecting it. It could be through the electricity. It could be through clouds in the sky. It could be on a billboard. It could be many different ways in a song, but they will if you allow them and are open to it. And check out some of my YouTube videos. I've got a lot on that kind of stuff. Yeah, Emily says she felt that their poodle sent them Milo, absolutely, but could not die with her present. And that can happen. We were talking about that. I had a coaching and Q&A call this morning with my animal energy certification training people. We have calls at different times. Usually once in the month we have it in the evening, and once in the month earlier for people on all different time zones, because we do have people all over the world. So, I was talking about this exact thing on that call. By the way, if you come into the Animal Energy Certification Training Program, not only do you get the training, you get 2 live Q&A calls per month with me and the group. And you also get the archive, and there's over 60 calls in the archive. And they go into more depth than this because they are my training. Hi, Lynn. Lynn says, just joining. You can go back and watch it from the beginning. We got going late. Thanks, you guys. All my supporters are saying how great my program is. Yay. So we are going to wrap. I'm just looking at the time here. It's getting dark. I don't have enough lighting to keep going. So remember, there's 2 free webinars you can register for. The links are in the thread. You can go through the thread. Remember that you can grab my free Making the Heart Connection with Your Animal Companions training. There's a link in the thread for that. There's also a link in the thread for my grounding exercise, which is amazing for your animal companions. And they're also separately on the page. Okay, so if you look on the Animal Alchemy page, there's separate like pictures with that say the name of the whatever it is, and then there's a link to it, so it's easier to find that way if you scroll around the page a little bit. Sue says, thank you, Lynn, for all you do. Oh, that's my pleasure. This is honestly what I was put on this earth to do, and I'm not giving up till I'm done. Lynn said, I heard owls a lot when my dog passed. Absolutely, they can connect with us in so many different and unique ways. Thanks, Lily. Lily says, thank you so very much for your energy, light, and time. So, the last, in closing, we have another live Q&A in 2 weeks. It's going to be on this page at 5 p.m. Pacific, if Facebook lets me on. Today we were late, like I said. And if you like it, please comment, like, tag, share. Tag someone who might be interested, share it. That helps me be able to do more of these for you guys, and I want to be able to keep doing them free for you. And so write that date down, October 10th, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll be doing another one, same time, same channel. And also be sure to mark the date, October 29th, that whole week. We're going to be doing an animal communication healing week, and there's going to be some surprises. So you guys will love that. And we'll tell you more when we have more ready. Amy says, love your passion. Thanks for sharing your gift. Eddie, my dog, is a sweet dog that came to me at 1, and then now that ends. Sorry about that. Sheba says, pleasure to meet you. Anne says, thanks for answering. And Lynn says, thank you so much. I thought there was something else I saw there, but who knows? It's all, I never saw your question, Beata. I'm very sorry, and I'm going to look through the thread on my computer when I've posted this and see what your question was, and I will do my best to answer you there. I did see your 2 things saying I didn't answer your question, but I never saw your question. So Facebook has its funny ways of what it shows you and when it shows you, and we can't do anything about that. Anyways, abundant blessings, everyone. Love you so much, and thanks for being here, and thanks for commenting, liking, sharing, tagging your friends. That helps so much. So I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.